Wow. I feel like I just came out with a video not too long ago talking about the Zynga acquisition with Take Two, where they bought Zynga for like 12.7 billion. And in that video, I was going on and talking about how this is by far the biggest video game industry related acquisition, period. Like, that was the biggest thing. And then and then in that video I compare it to when Xbox bought Bethesda, saying that, they pretty much beat them out. I mean, they were beaten out before with, I believe, some acquisitions related to Tencent, but it seemed like, in terms of the more well-known companies, I guess, that was like a big acquisition, and that the Zynga one was the biggest one. And it's almost as if Xbox saw my video and was like, nah, we're gonna get that high score back. We're gonna beat them out again. Because now Xbox has announced yet another acquisition, and this time it's for Activision Blizzard, and for about $70 billion, which is like an insanely high, astronomical amount. And in one way, I'm just shocked. Like, I just woke up and heard the news, and that's insane to me. Like, I was already kind of like, shocked, right, at the Zynga acquisition for 12.7, but now we have one that is just like way more than anything we've ever seen before. That's insane. $70 billion. And mind you, that now means that, like, every franchise and every development company that Activision has owned or owns, they are now Xbox studios, in the same way that the Bethesda acquisition did the same. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, especially those of you who play primarily or exclusively on a PlayStation console, that you're going to be concerned as to what happens to certain franchises. I've been saying this for a while. I've been on podcasts talking about this exact thing before, but I believe they're going to do the same thing they've always done when it comes to Xbox acquiring different studios. And essentially what that is that any franchise that has a game in development right now that is, already planned for PlayStation consoles, they'll come to that console. But any game that is essentially not really being thought about right now, not really in development, but they start development freshly after the acquisition is finalized, those games will most likely be a Xbox console exclusive. They'll most likely be that. So that tells me that I'm not sure with 100% confidence how long that'll last for certain games, because we don't know how early these games were, signed off on for the PlayStation family of systems. So I'm going to use Call of Duty as an example, because Call of Duty is like the most well-known franchise from Activision. So I would say that I'm not entirely sure if Call of Duty 2022 is going to be an Xbox exclusive game in any capacity. It might be, already in its planning stages. It's clearly been in development already for a while, right? You know how Call of Duty is, it comes out yearly. So I would imagine that's still coming to PlayStation this year. But the 2023 iteration, I don't know. It depends. Like, I don't know how these companies' inner workings are as of now, so it's kind of difficult for me to say. I know they have 3 development studios for Call of Duty, so it's possible that the 2023 game is also already in development right now. So it's possible. I think for sure 2022's Call of Duty game will be like everywhere. 2023, it's possible it'll be everywhere. But I think after that, 2024, you might see Call of Duty be an Xbox only thing. You might just see that. But there's certain potential to be had from here. Well, for one of the big negatives, right, is the public reception to acquiring a company that just not too long ago was dealing with some of the biggest fucking controversies, like, period, with the sexual harassments and a lot of the other things that were going on at Activision Blizzard. I'm sure you've heard of it. It was all over the internet when, those things were coming to light. So a lot of people obviously would like to see Bobby Kotick gone, right? And the only thing that really is addressed in the Xbox blog post about the Activision Blizzard acquisition is that everyone's going to be answering to Phil Spencer. Like, Phil Spencer is going to be basically their boss and their CEO. So that doesn't necessarily say that they're doing anything really about Bobby Kotick and his, people that, were doing those things back then, or even now. So there's no, I don't know, I don't feel confident that they're doing anything because it doesn't feel like anything was said. But at the same time, I believe that they might not do anything or say anything, maybe for legal reasons, until they can actually get the acquisition fully finalized and complete. Or maybe that's just me having some, I don't know, hopeful thinking. There's also a tiny bit of hopeful thinking that maybe they'll get like certain studios at Activision Blizzard to go work on other things. I mean, that'd be nice. A certain dream scenario for me. And I'm calling it a dream scenario because we're still dealing with, large corporations that probably doesn't have our best interests at heart. But a dream scenario for me would be that if they essentially get Toys for Bob, if you remember the developers behind Crash Bandicoot 4, and I believe they also did the Crash Bandicoot remake and the kart racing game, which is wild, by the way, that Activision owned Crash, and because of that, that means Xbox now owns Crash. That means a character that used to be a PlayStation exclusive is now an Xbox exclusive character, like in the future. Like that's wild to me. But anyways, I think it'd be really dope if we see Crash Bandicoot's developer, Toys for Bob, essentially have another chance of developing a game, but this time they develop a game that has been highly requested from Microsoft for a very long time, which is Banjo-Kazooie. Like, if you see a new Banjo-Kazooie game come out and is developed by Toys for Bob, that's a big deal. That's a big deal considering how requested Banjo is. And I know there's a wild misconception that goes around saying that Rare was killed by Microsoft, but Rare themselves as a company just did not want to do Banjo. I mean, they did it with Nuts and Bolts, and after that they were done. It was entirely a Rare decision, believe it or not. So while Rare is working on things like Sea of Thieves, they are developing Everwild, which is a game that we saw announced a while ago, but we haven't really seen anything since. I'm hoping to see something soon. And I think it'll be interesting to see Toys for Bob do what they did with Crash Bandicoot and do it for Banjo-Kazooie. Hell, maybe they can do the same exact, layout they did with Crash, where they can get Toys for Bob to, remake the old Banjo-Kazooie games, and then if those games sell well, hell, get them to make a new Banjo-Kazooie game. I think it'd be cool. That's kind of like the best case scenario I can see out of this situation, but past that, I don't really know. This acquisition is just mind-blowing to me, and I'm trying to think of like what they can do with it. What's the potential looking like? It doesn't necessarily mean it's possible and that it'll happen, but a guy can dream. But let me know what you guys feel about this in the comments down below. This is just wild to me, so I don't know. just let me know. Just let me know what you feel about it. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Shifty, yeah, shifty. Wanna be the number one gamer? Come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe. Could you like the vid, please? Take your time. You don't gotta do it swiftly. Shifty, shifty. Wanna be the number one gamer? Come and